You yourself have recently come up with a new book that you have written. It's over here. It's called Improve Your Chess Calculation, and it's for new in chess. Uh, Tell us a bit about this book. How did it come about? How many years did it take for you to write this book?
Yeah, so basically it's very tough to quantify the time limit. I've received an offer from New in Chess a few years ago to write a book for them, but at that point I realized like writing a book involves a lot of effort, so which I was not sure I could invest at that point of time. So when the lockdown happened, I thought now probably is a good time to start this thing. I wanted to write a series of books, and it's basically like something like a journey towards excellence kind of thing, like how a player gradually learn different topics at different levels and reach grandmaster and higher level. So I wanted to write on different topics, multiple books, and the calculation book is the first one in that series. I'm really thankful to New Chess for giving me this opportunity to write for them. And the book, okay, it contains things from two angles. One is the learning aspect, because I feel calculation is something very important for players. Even at a very, very beginner level, at a very earlier level, they have to know to calculate very basic stuff. And if they are managed to do that, then they can rapidly progress. For many players, they don't focus much on the tactical skills and the calculation skills when they are young, and they just play a lot of blitz games, prepare openings, and when they get into this kind of rot, most of them, probably 9 out of 10 players, they get stuck at very quickly. They don't play as well as they should have done. So it's very important to work on tactical skills and calculation at a very, very early stage of the career. And so the psychological aspects, what prevents players from learning calculation well. So I've tried to go deep into those aspects as well, because once we can successfully overcome those issues, then it will be more easier to learn the calculation process. So the barriers in learning calculation, and I've also focused on the typical mistakes players make while doing calculation. So there are multiple types of mistakes a player makes. For example, players don't look for candidate moves, or when they have a list of candidate moves, they get stuck with which move I should analyze first. Let's say there are 3 options, A, B, C. Should I analyze A or B or C? Because sometimes it happens like you analyze option A, you think for 15 minutes and it doesn't work. And then you analyze option B and you're not sure how it goes. And then you analyze option C, you're saying you're winning in like 1 minute. So had I analyzed option C first, I could have saved so much time and effort. So all these type of questions, and there are many other mistakes also players make while calculating. So I try to highlight those aspects with some examples, and also the examples have been divided into 5 different levels. So even like a 2700 player will struggle to solve many of these positions. So I try to keep some very, very challenging positions, and also simple ones for players at the lower level, so they can gradually progress from one level to the other. And all these positions I have worked with most of my students, so the human element will also be there apart from the analysis from the computer.
This is very it seems a bit like the Mark Doretsky approach, right? He would also work with his students and give them positions. Was that an influence?
Yeah, I've always been very much influenced by Mark Doretsky, both as a player and subsequently as a trainer, but largely as a player. When I was a young and upcoming player, I think around 1998 or something, Doretsky books started coming to India, and his books had a tremendous impact. It made me kind of a semi-professional player. I was totally an amateur till then, and reading his books made me like the training should be very serious and systematic, and there should be an approach and thought behind it. It should not be like random, haphazard manner. So he brought that discipline and identified topics clearly, discussed about those topics, gave examples. So that approach was really helped me as a player. And when I gradually became a trainer, I get a lot of inspiration from him as well.
Fantastic. Could we have a look at some of the chapters of the book? So here's the book, and if we first look at it, we have the foreword by Vishy Anand. No, you can say.
Yeah.
So there's a foreword by Anand, and then we have the, yeah, this is the one, and it's a very nicely written foreword by Anand in March 2022, and the chapters here are dynamic and static positions, calculation training with students, analytical process, forcing moves, common mistakes chess players make while calculating variations, improving calculation through solving studies, and chess improvement suggestions from a coach. So if someone wants to read this book, should they go from the chapter 1?
No, not necessarily. They could also start with chapter 7 because it sets the tone for the proper mindset. Many players, because of poor philosophy, poor priorities, and also like generally what happens with many players is like from a very young age, they start their own personal likes and dislikes starts influencing what they learn and how well they learn. For example, many players when they are young, even the coaches, the parents say you are a very good attacking player. So when they play an attacking game. So when we tell them you are an attacking player, then the young player mind will think like I am a good attacking player, so I should play attacking game. So they will try to attack in every game they play. They will start developing a liking towards it, and they will believe they are good at it. And their openings also, they will choose openings which will give them attacking positions. And at home, what they prepare, they will see attacking games, attacking openings. So their whole mindset will be like become one-sided. They'll be looking at one aspect of the game, and they will get good results because any area you make an improvement, you will get good results. So when they are making good improvement in their attacking skills, calculation skills, they will obviously get good results. But eventually, after a few years, you will see that they have a very lopsided development. They'll be good in something, but not so good in other areas. So it's very important from a young age we take a overall balanced approach towards what areas we learn. So I try to highlight those issues in the chapter 7 because it's not directly related to the topic, but I would also recommend everyone to give a deep read to the chapter 7 because all these issues are discussed. So it's very important at a very young age we realize we not only have to learn things which we like, we also have to learn things which we don't like. And many times what happens when we avoid things, we start disliking it more, and we start hating it, and eventually it will become a fear. We will start fearing. For example, if I'm just an attacking player and I don't work on my endgame skills or positional skills, whenever after a few years endgame comes, I would start fearing it. Then I will feel I'm not good at this. And then we try to rectify it, already it could be a little too late.
Absolutely. So in this book, as you said, it can be done in any way.
Yeah.
And would you suggest that, let's say there are positions, and I saw that there are also there's a time limit given to solving the positions. So let's say you have written
so
also.
This is also very important, I think, how to use this book because here I have explained like how I usually use this material to train with my students. So it will be quite useful to, and I've also given 5 different levels for different rating brackets. So the positions also clearly mention, so this is also important. I have basically categorized positions into dynamic and static, which is already in place. Dorfman has written a lot about in this book. I have not read the book, but I have read few parts of it. I have borrowed the classification from him and then tried to build up on it. And okay, so this one is a very simple position where Magnus in a online game he missed a simple win. So I've given, if you see at the end, we have given 2 minutes. So it will be good, and also mention the level 1. So the level is mentioned in every position, and also the time required. But I've also mentioned how to use the book, that you don't have to strictly go by the time limit. You can take more. You can take 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So initially we should not be focusing on how long we take to solve the positions. We should try to instead focus on getting the answer correct.
Yes, this because, you have mentioned before.
Yeah, this is very important because it's just like you want to learn how to ride a bicycle. We don't try to ride the bicycle fast. That should not be the aim initially. The first thing is to sit and take the leg out without falling, right? So we should learn to sit and drive slowly, take a U-turn, turn left, turn right, and then after a few weeks you can pick up on the speed. So the time factor we don't have to worry initially. try to do the process correctly and get the answers correct, because we do the process, follow the process correctly. And once we start getting the answers correctly, automatically the speed will improve. So if we try to focus on the time factor initially, then we will compromise on the process, and then the quality of analysis will be bad. We'll keep making more mistakes.
Right. And I've seen that in these positions, once you start solving a position, there is position inside a position.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you see, like we have, I've given, like, let's take this one. It's level 3, the third game, and I've given 10 minutes thinking process. So it will be good, like, if we just hide the moves with the hand like this. So this is one way, or you can keep any opaque object and hide the thing. Once you understand 10 minutes needs to be taken, you can just cover this, set this position in a chessboard, and then think for 10 minutes. If you want to think more, if you are in the middle of analysis, 10 minutes up, you can try to think more. But initially what will happen, like, so once you have done 10 minutes of thinking in this position, you will not have got all the analysis. You would have seen some part of it. And then what you can do is, like, maybe if possible, write down the solution. And it will be good if you have someone to help. If you have someone to help while working with the book, then maybe it's better to give the book to him. They will set up the position on the board, and they can mention, you can take 10 minutes. And at the end of 10 minutes, you can start telling the other person whatever variations you have seen. And the other person can probably set this position in a computer, and then start going through the analysis, whatever the analysis the player is saying, compare it with the analysis given in the book. And then if there is any mistake, they can say, like, instead of this move, can you find a different move? So it's very important the trainer or whoever is trying to help the player not reveal the move. So usually what happens, like, in the book, there is a move given, the player gives a different move. Then usually they say, like, okay, your move is not correct, this move is correct. Instead, for effective training, it give them another chance and say, okay, there is something wrong with your move, try to find it, and what is wrong with your move. And after they find what is wrong with their move, they refute their own idea, what is wrong with that. Then they can try to again think and come up with the correct answer. So this is a very time consuming process, and so it's better to start with, so if you find the level 3 too difficult for you, then you should go to level 2.
Right.
Even though the rating bracket gives a different rating, you might think, like, I have a better rating, so I can do level 3. But if the level 3 portion is tough, it's better to go to level 1, level 2, complete those positions, and that will keep your mind in good frame, and then you can come back to level 3.
Right.
And also, like, if you see that same position, we have analyzed in multiple pages, and
every time you have given something more.
Yeah, so when they make mistakes, what typical mistakes they make, and about the thinking process also, I try to go deep wherever possible. So it will be a lot of variations, and that is precisely what calculation is all about. Calculation is about brute force. So 4 things, criteria we should try to meet. One is try to go as deep as possible into the variations we are considering, and the second is to see more branches. So it's not enough if we go deep in only one variation. It will be good if you can see 2 or 3 or 4, as many as required to get to the truth of the position. So the branching out, going deep is important. And also, when we come up with ideas, one good way to improve calculation is to refute our own ideas. So when I like a particular move, we should realize it is just our first impression. It doesn't mean it is the correct move, it is the best move. So if you give a position to 10 different people, usually you will get 5 or 6 moves. And everyone will think their move is correct because they like it. So we should learn to keep our likes aside and approach analysis objectively. Sometimes the move which we don't like could be the best move. Sometimes the move we like could be a bad move. All these are possible. So once we identify these things, then we set about the analytical process, so which I have tried to explain what are the different stages we analyze and go through. So try to analyze as much as you can. Whenever you find you are not able to visualize the position without moving pieces, and so 4 things I said, 3 I mentioned. One is trying to go deep and multiple branches. Refute your own ideas. This is very important. So when we come up with an idea, we normally what players do, they try to make that idea work because they like it. It's like our ego. It says, like, my move is best or my move is correct, and we try to support our idea with our analysis. So So we kind of twist the analysis to prove that our move is correct. This is what many players make. So it's better to be very objective, simply accept that sometimes my move could be wrong as well. With that mindset, when you analyze, you'll be open to refuting your own ideas. So if there is a refutation to our idea, we must find it, and that makes us better in calculation. And the fourth, to do all this, and the outcome should be correct. If you make a lot of mistakes in the analysis, so if you take too difficult a position, outcome will be incorrect. So better to start with easy ones, get them correctly, and then gradually move to tougher positions.
Amazing. That was very nicely pointed out. And do you think that people should set this up on a chessboard, or do you think that doing it from the book is fine?
I think for very strong players or players who have very good visualization skills, reading from the book is fine. For most, I would say it's better to set it up on the board. And if the variations become very complex, maybe you can write it down as you think. But here the problem is your focus could be more on writing things down. And I've seen, like, I don't want to name, recently when I was working with a player, 26 plus grandmaster, he said, like, he sees a variation, goes very deep, and he didn't know how we reached this position. So how this whole variation came about. So all these are possible. So even very strong players face these issues. So if a player faces multiple issues, which we are bound to face, it's very important to keep persistently trying. So whenever we feel some difficulty, we should not think like, I'm not good at this, that's why I'm not able to solve. Others are good. So we have to realize that even strong players, they became strong by overcoming these difficulties, not giving up when they face. Very important as well.
Amazing. And I feel that this book is like a classic, like it's not time bound because it's about calculation. So an opening book has a shelf life, let's say a couple of years, maybe 3 to 4 years. But this one, people can keep using it. So it's a very big contribution to the world of chess.
I wouldn't want to look at it as a contribution to world of chess. Okay, everyone is contributing in their own sphere. How I look at it is like, I have a lot of experience working with different levels of players, and I have seen the practical difficulties the players go through in their different phases of career. So I want to come up with a series of books which can help them, like when they read these things, they will realize I'm facing these issues. So it should touch their heart, like someone understands the problems I'm going through. And from that they should realize it's not just me going through this problem, it's almost all the players in the world. They are all going through the same problems which we are going through. And some of us persist, try harder, believe in ourselves, and overcome those problems. So do we want to be in that category? That is the thing. So I want them to realize, like, what are problems you are going through, everyone faces, you have to persist.
Fantastic. And Ramesh, I think this book is available now in India for everyone. It's on ChessBase India. We also have it on the ChessBase India stall here at the Olympiad. So I would request you, if possible, we can have a book signing session.
Yeah, definitely.
Tomorrow on 5th.
Yes.
At 8 p.m. If it is okay
Yes.
with you.
Yeah, definitely. It should be possible.
Yeah, so maybe that would be great. And for everyone else sitting at home, I'll put the link in the description and people can buy this book. Any level that you would recommend can go for this book, or you think it's open for all?
I think like anyone who is serious about making improvement over a period of time and willing to put the effort, I would recommend this book. It's not rating specific.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.